Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will speak very briefly because every indication is that there will be substantial activity on the Senate floor regarding this nominee, and I look forward to the opportunity that that discussion will present to ventilate before the entire American people what happened at the Office of Legal Counsel under the Bush administration. To hear this nominee derided in terms of concerns about rule of law, about hardened partisanship, about ideological disdain, requires a really astonishing immunity to irony. To have those statements made with a straight face, to discuss with a straight face the administration's counterterror policies and the commander-in-chief powers in the context of OLC, and again, not be overwhelmed with a sense of irony is, again, astounding. The Office of Legal Counsel at the Department of Justice is a contender, and perhaps the lead contender, for the most rotten place in the United States government during the Bush administration. The rot ran deep. The rot is reflected in legal opinions that are so far below OLC's regular standard of scholarship, indeed so far below simple run-of-the-mill levels of scholarship that a whole slew of them have already been withdrawn. It is a rarity for an OLC opinion to be withdrawn because it was wrong. Obviously, they're constantly adjusted as case law changes going forward, but I can't recall anything like this ever having happened. The OLC was sort of a temple of scholarship within the Department of Justice. The notion that it would be the subject of an examination by the Office of Professional Responsibility of the Department of Justice was, before the Bush administration, unthinkable. And yet, there's been considerable stall, but sooner or later, and I hope soon, we will get the report from the Office of Professional Responsibility that looks into what has taken place. For those of us who've taken a first-hand look into those opinions, the spectacle that we have seen has been appalling. Perhaps the most disgraceful example is the torture opinion, omitting any discussion whatsoever of a decision of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals of the United States of America describing waterboarding and repeating, I think it was 11 times in the opinion, describing it as torture, using the word torture.
And if the senator would yield on that, also reflecting the fact that in the history of this country, we've always considered waterboarding torture, and we've even prosecuted people who use waterboarding, calling it torture.
Another area of historical research that completely eluded the Office of Legal Counsel in making these opinions. The Department of Justice has had some very dark days through the Bush administration. The joy and relief with which Attorney General Holder was greeted when he came back to the department, the sense that propriety has been restored, the bipartisan nature of that relief has all been a very good thing. And it has brought the Department of Justice back from very, very dark days. But the darkest part of those dark days was what became of the Office of Legal Counsel. And So I welcome this discussion. I think the more we discuss the Office of Legal Counsel and what took place during the Bush administration, the better the American people will understand how previously proud agencies of their government were corrupted and turned to ideological pursuits. And I hope that we spend a lot of time on the floor discussing this, because I think it's an important piece of America's learning and coming to grips with just how bad the interference with the integrity of government became in areas that I said before had been temples of scholarship. People who've been around the Department of Justice just cannot accept, cannot believe, cannot countenance what took place there. And the more you know the Department of Justice, the more you know the reputation that the Office of Legal Counsel had within that department. And what became of it is shameful and disgraceful. And if there's a single irony in these proceedings that outdoes all of the other ironies, which are legion right now, it is my friends on the other side of this table who were silent through those long, dark days of degradation of this proud office, now suddenly come forward and have discovered that they have concerns about partisanship or ideology or rule of law. Where were you when the problem was really acute? Where were you when these incompetent ideological opinions were being issued one after another? Where were the reassuring remarks after these opinions had to be withdrawn? What will they have to say when the OPR report comes out? It will be interesting to see all of this. And as I said, the larger this debate gets, the better it is for America. And I can't tell you that how much I look forward to energetically having this whole question thoroughly aired out on the floor of the United States Senate before the American people. I thank the chairman for his courtesy.
Well,